Hello, in this part of the model, we will give you a brief overview of GenAI. GenAI is a category of AI that can create new content based on patterns learned from training data. Depending on the tool, GenAI can produce text, computer code, images, audio, videos, presentations, and other digital content. GenAI tools learn from a large collection of existing content. And during their training, they identify patterns in languages, images, sounds, code, and other forms of information. They then use those patterns to generate new content in response to a user's request or a prompt. And in this model, we will focus primarily on two Gen AI tools, ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot. Although these tools may have different features, they use similar processes to interpret prompts and generate responses. Now, how does Gen AI works? Here is a simple breakdown of how Gen AI produces a response. The process begins with a user prompt. This is a question, instruction, or information that a user enters into the Gen AI tool. For example, you might ask the tool to explain a concept, create a study guide, or suggest a topic for a research paper. It then moves to tokenization. This is where the tool breaks the prompt into smaller pieces called tokens. A token may be a complete word, part of a word, a number, or a punctuation mark. The system processes these smaller pieces rather than reading the sentences exactly as a human would. The next step is contextual encoding. This is where the system examines the tokens in relation to one another. It considers the order of the words, the surrounding context, and patterns learned during training to determine what the prompt is asking. And then we will move to prediction and output evaluation. This is where the Gen AI tool predicts the token that is statistically most likely to come next. Here you can think of it as an advanced level or version of the autocomplete feature that we have on our phones and our computers. When you begin typing, the autocomplete may suggest the next word or phrase based on the common language patterns. Gen AI works in a similar way, but on a much larger and more complex scale. It predicts one token, then uses that token to predict the next one. This process continues until it has created a complete response, and that is what is presented to you as the output. Now, let's look at an unavoidable byproduct of this predictive nature of Gen AI, which is hallucinations. An AI hallucination occurs when the tool generates information that is inaccurate, misleading, unsupported, or completely fabricated, but present it as though it were true. For example, an AI tool may invent quotations, it may provide a citation to a source that does not exist, give an incorrect date, or confidently describe an event that never happened. Hallucinations occur because Gen AI is designed to produce a response that fits the pattern into the prompt. It is not designed to guarantee that every statement it generates is factually correct. For this reason, you should not assume that an AI generated response is trustworthy simply because it sounds clear and confident. Important information should always be carefully evaluated and verified. The key point to remember is this: Gen AI can create content, but the user remains responsible for evaluating that content and deciding whether and how it should be used. Thank you for staying with us for this module. I hope you enjoy the rest of the activities in the module.